Our conversation is about cryptocurrency. So just to give a bit of a background before we get into it with our guests now, the Securities Exchange Commission says it plans to license providers of virtual assets, including cryptocurrencies, to tap opportunities and protect investors as adoption rates surge in Nigeria. Speaking during an interview with Bloomberg, Momotimi Agama, the DG of SEC, said the commission intends to issue first licenses of digital service and tokenized assets this month. Agama said the SEC wants to provide a platform where people can formally do these things and we are able to get all of the information that we need. Now, there's so much, and because we know that in December, the Central Bank of Nigeria lifted the ban on cryptocurrency transactions months after the federal government clamped down on Binance, a crypto exchange, over regulatory breaches, and in May the SEC announced plans to delist Naira from all peer-to-peer groups. There's so much has happened in the cryptocurrency world, and I'm hoping that my guest, Dr. Chukwuemeka Eke, Professor of Digital Economics, would shed more light on the matter. Now, earlier you said it was timely. Can you expand further on that, please?
Some of us have always said that the future of currency is in fiat. It's not even the fiat-backed virtual currency. The future is cryptocurrency. And, well, the federal government has realized that they either catch up or they're lost in the maze. So, as it were, I would say kudos to them. It's timely. Let's go. Briefly though, they might reason, or they might push out this reason that criminals are awash in that industry. There's no industry that does not have criminal activity. The beautiful thing is that you need them to be able to mature and strengthen your systems. Thank you.
Okay, now, so let's get down to certain aspects of the conversation. We're going to be looking at the regulatory framework now. With this thing coming on board, how do you see the regulatory framework shaping the future of digital assets in Nigeria?
Okay, first of all, we came from virtually no regulatory framework for crypto assets or virtual assets, and we are quietly moved into having some form of regulation. But the thing is, I've mentioned it here, that when it comes to virtual assets, virtual cities, virtual existence, virtual economy, you have to be on your toes 24/7. Very soon, we're not going to have 24/7 because we would have no time infrastructure, so to speak. That is for another day. So for us right now, it's to make sure our regulatory framework can carry on, or has the capacity to engage the innovation in this space. That's all.
Now, what challenges and opportunities do you foresee with the SEC's plan to formally license digital service and tokenize asset providers?
Yeah, first, it provides clarity, because from your synopsis earlier, there was this acceptance, and then there was a clampdown, and then all of a sudden there was this witch hunt, not a witch hunt anyway, just a hunt for Binance executives, and it was like, oh, criminals have taken over the crypto space. No, calm down. One thing you have to understand is that the previous government, that's the Buhari government, they had this ultra-conservative perspective to economic issues. But this current government, I think they have a much more robust market perspective, towards economic activities. So first, it provides clarity. All right, and then secondly, it makes, because when we started doing all that cat and dog thing with virtual assets, we affected investors' confidence. We made them, sit back and then watch us to allow us evolve. So making this move has provided clarity, and then secondly, it also has helped us to now get the roadmap. There's clarity that we want to accept it, now begin to work on the roadmap. But let me sound this warning. Regulating and monitoring the crypto space or the virtual space is not like regulating the real space. Let me use that word, real. Here, for now, we're using time in the real space to judge time in the virtual space. Is an anomaly. In the virtual space, there is no time. That's why you have companies run 24 hours. That's what I'm saying. In the future, there won't be 24 hours, there won't be 7 days. It just be time flowing as a continuum. So yeah, so right now, clarity and provides a roadmap. Yeah.
You mentioned investors. Now, as the SEC aims to protect investors while tapping into the opportunities in the cryptocurrency space, what measures should they actually, look into to see that happens?
Okay.
And
first,
of course, without stifling innovation too.
Yes. The thing is, there has to be a balance. Okay. First of all, they have to understand, do a cross-country study without traveling to those countries. I know I'm adding it. Without traveling to those countries. There are experts here who can give you robust review for 6, 7, 8, because when you expand the sample size, you have better insights into how other developed economies have coped, learn from their mistakes. And then secondly, there has to be synergy. NCC, I'm mentioning NCC yet again, and then SEC, and then CBN. I don't want this, sorry, personal opinion, I don't want this multi-layered bureaucracy. No, because when you bring that in, bureaucracy can't catch up with the virtual space. It can't catch up. I mean, it's not possible. So you have to wave away that multi-layer bureaucracy. Now, let there be a synergy between these 3 or 4 agencies, and let it be such that it is not constrained by time. So when something pops up, there's a proactive engagement. Then the next thing is, having laid out the roadmap, let's have realistic regulation so that we don't stifle innovation. Thank you.
Now, you said something about agencies, and we're in a country where everything that needs to be done somehow needs to have another agency started up for it. Do you think that's a requirement for this, or there could just be people from the SEC, people from the CBN, people from the NCC come together and just have a committee or something without it being an agency of some sort, just for virtual assets?
Am I permitted to say God bless you? Yes, God bless you. Now, the thing is, with government comes bureaucracy. And with the virtual world comes zero bureaucracy. Some people just want to protect jobs. Now, there's no need to create an agency. All you need is DEX officers. DEX officers, if you're working with 3 agencies, have 3 DEX officers who meet virtually. For heaven's sake, you don't need to. There's no incurring of transport, whatever, meeting, whatever. No. They meet virtually. They meet virtually to look at what is happening in the economy. So my answer to your question, which I said, God bless you, is we don't need any extra layer of bureaucracy. Let them stay in their different agencies and meet virtually. Thank you. All
right, now for the impact on the economy. Now, the SEC has highlighted the growing market size of fintech and cryptocurrencies in Nigeria. Now, how significant is this market for Nigeria's economy, and and what potential does it have for future economic growth? Now, we see a lot of fintechs. There are quite a lot of them, and at some point,
more coming.
Yeah, at some point, even the SEC had to ban some because of these loan sharks and all that too.
Okay, let me take you down a little bit history. We were a beautiful continent with our own factories, yes. With our own economy, yes. Before we had Arabians and Europeans come in. Most people focus on Europeans, forgetting that, of course, Arabians also colonized Africa, colonized Nigeria. Yes, they did. And they had, most books, everybody's looking at the West, criticizing the West. No, I take a course, History and Structure of the Nigerian Economy, and I had to take out time to research, document, and teach how Europeans also impacted slave trade and our economy, as it were. So now look at
Europeans
this.
Europeans or Arabians?
Both of them, Europeans and Arabians.
Okay.
Of course, Europeans, for instance, brought in some level of industrialization, even though it was Europe-centric. But Arabians were just trading. Were just trading. So now, if you look at it, their activities, Arabians and Europeans, internationalized our economy. In other words, they plugged us into then global economy through trade, through industrialization. How limited, okay? However, now with this one, let me race back to today. This will further engage us. This will further bring us into another structure of global economy, okay? Which is, this one is not like that one. Now, that's what I'm saying. The mistake we'll always make in policy making, even America, is to assume that we can use time in the real world to measure time in the virtual world. It can't work. And there are a lot of articles that can help you arrange your policy, so to speak, to take care of that lacuna. Now, for what is going on, number one, it's going to integrate economies further. 1, 2, of course, it's going to provide jobs. Everybody wants jobs. But we had, when Nigeria Bureau of Statistics came out with the fact that unemployment is less than 5%, it was like headline, woo, everybody screamed, it's not possible. But they explained that the matrix for measuring unemployment has changed in the last 1 hour. Have you engaged in any income earning activity? If your answer is yes, what's the value? You've been employed. Now, in the same way, I told them when we had a roundtable discussion hosted by one organization in Nigeria, I said, look, that figure will go down to almost under 1% because there are people who are earning incomes who are not dependent on our local or domestic economy, and they are living fat. Most of them do not even pay tax. I said, we need to, for us to deepen our GDP, we need to find a way, and I gave them the way to identify them and to engage them formally. A lot of people are working from their homes, from their cars, and they are earning good sum of money, not naira denominated, dollar denominated incomes. So of course it will further create jobs, and of course it will further aid industrialization.
You already answered the question I was going to ask us, which was the economic benefits on the adoption of cryptocurrencies on the economy, especially for the youth. You really said it's going to create jobs and, of course, take people out of a certain kind of poverty. Yes, I don't want to use the word poverty, but so now back to investor. Now, the SECs, how can they balance the need for regulation with a dynamic and fast evolving nature of cryptocurrencies and fintech?
Okay, first of all, the mindset must change. I'm sorry. You cannot use, I'm sorry, the mindset has to change. And the funny thing is that they need to involve kids, sorry for using the word kids, they need to involve youngsters, youth, who are under 25. Listen to me, you need to involve them because they have the mindset. But for those who are over 45, who are over 40, who have not done sufficient research, who just have bureaucratic experience, you need to come with the gate. You understand? So, they have to be gatekeepers. Exactly, just come with the gate. But it should be such that the gate should be flexible to allow creativity of that particular segment through. But once you want to cage them, from their homes, they can transact with Spain. They just boycott you and they will earn, no matter what. From anywhere you can mint any crypto assets from anywhere. So even if you want to hold them down, they don't leave you. And from their home, even in a village in Ikotu, they are earning dollars. You understand? So the truth of the matter is that for investors, yes, we have to be careful to ensure that first we show up confidence by showing them that we're serious, by letting them know that we have the regulatory capacity, let them know that we are going to accommodate innovation, no matter how risky. However, let them know that our systems are robust enough to guard against criminal activity. Now, let me shock the entire world watching now. Criminal activities are state-sponsored. I'll take it again. Criminal activities are state-sponsored.
Why would you be saying that?
Oh, come on. We have researched sufficiently in the virtual world. And we have a lot of papers out there. Just click my name, search. The truth is that for any criminal activity in the virtual world that's been able to survive over 3 months, is state-sponsored. So when I say state-sponsored, some people might have gone to, Nigerians, yes, the terrorist sponsor. No, knock it off. There are people who raise funds from all those things. They understand the terrain. They engage the terrain. And the people that do this thing, they're not adults. They're not my age. These guys are under 20. These guys are under 25. I'm telling you. Okay, go and study what North Korea is doing. We've done sufficient study of North Korea. We're not going through what US said. We're going through independent, critical study. And that is the age that is doing so much.
Okay. So you mentioned something now about the fact that you can stay anywhere in the world and mint a cryptocurrency. And I'm sure that could be a problem for some people. The fact that it's volatile. So I want you to speak to the, I call it the meandering, slippery nature of cryptocurrency and digital or virtual assets.
Okay. Let me help those in government, those who have bureaucratic experience. See, when it comes to cryptocurrency, what you should be looking out for, inflow, outflow, value. I'll take it again. What you should be looking at is inflow, outflow, value. I'll take it again. Inflow, outflow, value. Now, once the inflow seems to be ridiculously less than the outflow, what's the value? You now begin to channel regulatory instruments to see how you can shore up inflow and maybe reduce outflow. So if somebody is in Ikotun and is minting and earning and could somehow sabotage our GDP, you will know from inflow, outflow. See, one thing I like about the digital space, I'm looking forward to our digital cities where you can virtually live, I'm looking forward to that. I hope it happens in my lifetime. Now, there is what we call digital footprint. Nothing happens without a footprint. Like you have carbon footprint, you have that footprint, you have digital footprint. You can't erase it. Even if it's erased, you can always retract it and know what happened. Okay, like I tell people, don't be fooled when WhatsApp tells you that you have end-to-end encryption. No, it's not so. It can. Oh yes, there's a key to unlock, especially when security is involved. You unlock it and see everything.
Don't give people ideas, please.
I like that. So coming from that perspective, I would just advise that for them to want to guard against criminal activities, exploiting and putting the economy at a disadvantage with that idea of running your own thing, make sure you are armed. There are ways. Everybody should tell that we don't know how to do this, a lie. There are ways. Inflow, outflow, value. Once you have, I don't want to use the word, the phrase 24 hours, but once you can mount the system, because they are there, you can monitor inflow, outflow. Once there is a discrepancies, now begin to channel regulatory instruments, infrastructure to reverse the trend. So it's doable. Thank you.
All right, now, so we have our Apex Bank, and we want to talk about their role in all of this now. What impact, with all this, I mentioned earlier, the back and forth, the this, that, the clamp down, we're not doing this anymore. The previous clampdown on platforms like Binance, what do you think that the confidence, for both local and international investors in Nigeria's crypto market, what do you think that will do?
Yeah, actually, Nigeria took a hit. Okay, Nigeria took it. I don't want to focus on the politics of the hunt because there's a political side of it. Now, from the economics, we're looking at the rate at which our Naira was losing value. Naira was being raped, is still being raped. Okay, and so
very strong choice of words.
Yes. Because the thing is that the dollarization actually placed Naira at a huge disadvantage. You understand? Okay, let me use the public sector for instance. They have allocations, and then as they're getting the value, they're changing into dollar, and they kept in dollar, relinquishing Naira and making Naira value practically crash. Now, platforms like...
Just pause a minute.
Yeah, please.
Shouldn't that be criminalized?
Okay, see, the thing is, we put up a paper to that effect. We're talking about... there's a paper to that effect on moving from fiat to virtual currencies, and then we'll put up some mathematical equations to be able to take care of certain innuendos, so to speak. There, we proposed that no public sector actor should have access to a foreign currency by any reason. But you have to have the political will to enact that. If I'm a governor, for instance, I have no business with the dollar. Even if I want to travel out or do anything, for the sake of patriotism, I deal in Naira. That's why I'm saying sometimes the BRICS is attractive, trading one-on-one. But the truth of the matter is that if we are going to call a spade, I will still use your phrase, criminalize it, period.
All right, now market cap manipulation concerns, and our time will soon be having to round up. The SEC has expressed concerns about the use of cryptocurrency to manipulate the Naira. How prevalent is this issue, and what strategies could be employed to mitigate such risk?
Okay, now we may not be able to completely erase, let me say, placing the Naira at a disadvantage. Like I said, just since let me use the word regulators, because there are so many of them, big elephants in the room, since they've been able to identify the fact that we have placed the Naira at a disadvantage by the activities, and that's why I brought up this idea, inflow, outflow, value. There are apps, there are matrices, there are infrastructure to help you monitor real-time inflow, outflow, and value. Now, in doing that, what they should do is to make our regulatory infrastructure organic, shouldn't just be cast in stone. I might give you certain ideas, but I may be doing disservice to them. But as it is right now, what I've said is quite robust and sufficient. Once you know inflow, you know outflow, you know value. The next thing is to ensure that your regulatory infrastructure is liquid to be able to take care of this. So whoever is maybe perpetrating this, a group or a company or whatsoever, you may not have to go into clamping down, arresting. No, you engage. You engage. And once you're engaging, we should have, for instance, I was surprised that when riots became hot, France shut down social media instantly. So when you're moving beyond you out, we just shut you down. Your money is still here, but we'll shut you down. Let this money stay here.
You're giving them ideas.
I like that. I like that. I'm enjoying this. I like that. But the truth of the matter is that you cannot use, maybe if this is a conclusion, you cannot use real sector, real economy mentality to superintend, to regulate the virtual economy. It's not possible. You will lose out.
Now, so still with market manipulation and concerns, in what ways can the regulatory bodies ensure transparency and accountability in the cryptocurrency space to prevent currency manipulation?
You see, it's like asking me, how can I prevent a married couple from getting pregnant? It's not possible. It's not possible. Once they're married, if you give them the license, go ahead. Now, let me bring that to this case. You see, for them to take advantage and place our economy or our naira at a precarious situation is simply because they saw an opportunity that benefits them, but they're not looking at the bigger picture. So for our regulators to be able to maybe stop or check activities as you've defined, first and foremost, they have to understand one thing. You see, these people who are in the cryptocurrency space, they are economic actors. And economic actors, what is the baseline? Profit. And what is driving profit? Preference. And what is driving preference? Societal expectation. And what is driving societal expectation? Needs and wants. Now, once we come back and say that, okay, to an extent, how would I allow somebody operate sufficiently and also protect our GDP? It's simply engagement and liquidity. Because, for instance, I started giving out certain tricks, and thank God you called me you called my attention. I don't know how to use the phrase, you called me to order, that I'm already giving out certain sensitive, because once you do it, you see, the funny thing is that those involved in the virtual space are listening. Government guys are busy, in their own world. But these guys, they are listening. They want to know how can they better protect themselves. So if I provide ways that they can subvert our systems, our own regulators coming up would be lagging behind because they've gone ahead. But be rest assured that we can check this. And this route to legalize, provide clarity, provide license, and with this additional input your station is giving them, okay, that look, there's value when it comes to inflow and outflow, and then make our regulatory institution to be fluid and make sure you don't have any bureaucratic infrastructure set up. Let it be DEX officers, let them meet virtually and on the go. They would be on top of the game. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so our final and last question. We're going to the global context of things now. How does Nigeria's approach to cryptocurrency regulation compare with global trends? What lessons can be learned from other countries' experiences in regulating digital assets?
Okay, there are whales there are institutions and persons that we refer to as whales in the cryptocurrency or virtual asset space, and these are people who command a lot of money. Now, let me take America for instance. Between the two principal actors, Trump and Harry, Trump has really decided to really sit on cryptocurrency. Hillary is coming up. Now, international participation in the cryptocurrency is neither here nor there. They are also scared because rogue actors could hijack and take value out of the economies. So for us, how do we play? Let us make sure that our backbone is strong, because everybody, America, Britain, all of them, they are also scared. But they are participating large scale. but make sure your regulatory space is strong. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Chukwuemeka for joining us today on Business Daily. It's been quite a very interesting, enlightening, and educative time with you, speaking on cryptocurrency regulation. In case you just joined us and that part of the conversation, we've been talking on cryptocurrency regulation as the SEC wants to start giving licenses to cryptocurrencies and digital assets operators. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time today on Business Daily. I hope you've learned something and, of course, know how next to go in your cryptocurrency management and, what have you. My name is Chiamaka Nwafor. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms and on our YouTube live stream for more of our programs, documentaries, and news. Same time, same place next week. Don't go nowhere.